The 2020 Stellaris ModJam is out now. Use the links in the description below to download it and play with the origins right now and vote on your favorite creators. This video has not been made possible by Paradox Interactive, but has been made on my own accord because I feel that creators should be supported. As the ModJam is still going strong, I think it's time to take a look at some of the mods that are not necessarily ones that we can talk about in depth. Yes, these are the story-related ones. And I came to the conclusion after doing the containment of failure one that I probably spoke a little bit too much about that, and I didn't feel it was fair to the creators to quote-unquote spoil the story that they had crafted. And my apologies to you, Ghoulie, for kind of sort of spoiling the story behind it. So instead of doing several videos that are maybe 2 to 3 minutes long, going over the story origins as part of the ModJam, I'm going to go ahead and actually do a single video where all the story origins are all condensed into one. Now, it's really important to note that the reason why I'm doing this so I don't have to spend a ton of time doing a ton of 2-minute videos. I'd rather combine them into a single one and go a little bit more in depth into the mechanical ones. So for instance, Ancient Juggernaut, Behind the Scene, Caretaker, Factory Automation, Fleet Overlords, all those ones will have their own video. But the story ones, in terms of the video style, we're gonna go and pile them all into this one, and this is more out of respect for of the creators. So for those of you who are really into story origins, this is the video for you. Make sure you go check them all out and subscribe to the ModJam pack. You can find a link in the description below as well as the first comment. Let's get underway with the very first one. It's a Second Dawn. Now, Second Dawn is fascinating. Basically, you start on what is called a synth world. It's got all these cool hexes on it, and on top of that, you will have the ability to find 2 nearby planets that are suitable for colonization, and one of these planets is not what you think it to be. Let's dive in and see what is up with this species. Also be aware that I won't be changing species throughout this. So as you can see, we've moved into the future a little bit. We've got ourselves a second world, which is also a synth-grown planet with a whole bunch of stuff going on here. As well as a Blue Lotus crater. Don't you worry, Blue Lotus event is a special Federations thing. But as you can see, we've got our second planet over here. Again, synth-grown planet. It looks pretty swanky with all these hexes all over the place. But in addition to that, there is also a event chain called Shadows in the Dark. And this entire origin is smattered with tons and tons of these dig sites that are strewn throughout space. And this is only the jump off point. There is a whole bunch more. In addition, I also managed to get Wankworth here over because it's awesome, but that's a whole different story altogether. The thing is, however, is that at this point in time, I've got myself 2 of these planets. I've got myself another planet, because one thing that is important here is that you will automatically get 2 planets inside of a neighboring solar system as part of your guaranteed worlds, whereas your other guaranteed world, i.e. the one that's over in this system, sadly has had a little bit of a toxic world happening going on here. And once again, a broken construct is floating in orbit. If we go over towards our other planet over here, I believe there is another broken construct floating around somewhere. Yeah, there it is. And these broken constructs really take you throughout this origin. And that's really all I can say about this. There is a massive story here that is rather enjoyable. You will go onto a galactic-wide wild goose chase to find out where your species came from. And your decisions, yes, your decisions will actually have impact on what happens at the end. There are multiple outcomes that can happen here, and it's really important that you make the right decisions to get to the outcomes that you want to have. This is an origin that has multiple playthroughs worth of content behind it, and just based around that fact, it is incredibly good. I highly recommend you to go and take a look at this one. It is, of course, a Second Dawn. Go check it out because it is excellent. Let's move on to the next story origin. The next one is Absolute Zero. Now, Absolute Zero is the only origin in this particular mod pack that has the challenging origin modifier on it. Because there is a bunch of really important things that you need to keep in mind whilst playing this, and sadly, aside from the starting position, I can't tell you all that much. All you need to know is that your solar system has a special star called the Null Star. We'll take a look at it shortly, as well as a bunch of capital modifiers, and you'll have a mysterious cache. Let's dive in, let's see what it does, and maybe you can get a glimpse, a tittling, for you to potentially play with Absolute Zero. Now, as things kick off immediately at the start of the game, you will get a cache event, or a cache event, depending on how you want to pronounce it in this particular context, is that you get yourselves a special project called Accessing the Cache. However, this is not the only thing that has spawned in our solar system. Let's take a quick look at our capital world first. First of all, we get the mysterious cache, which increases our research from basically all values by 25%, which is an absolutely massive value. However, food from jobs will be reduced by 30%, which is a problem because, well, let's put it this way, you want to focus on your food production, otherwise you're going to run into some problems. But you may have noticed that this solar system is not necessarily the most standard thing here. Oh yes, we got ourselves, first of all, a Class M star that has some beautiful graphics on it. Look at that, it's all blackened out. Maybe it has something to do with what's going on in this solar system. It is a mystery after all. And in addition, there is Project Zero, the Null Star. Apparently, it's one of the darkest stars. Of course, it's some sort of black hole. And it spawns a resource called Null. Now, this is a rather interesting resource that you can mine if you, of course, have the right technology for it. You will need a null extraction to get it. And yeah, it will pop up in your strategic resources. Now, in addition to all of this stuff, there is, of course, the cache. And accessing the cache is done in 1,080 days. Now, I could tell you what happens in accessing the cache, but once again, that would be spoiling the story, and you really want to go and check this one out on your own time. 1,080 days is more than enough time to figure out what's going on. It's just around 4 years. And yeah, a lot of really cool stuff going on here. All I have to say about this is that, well, let's put it this way. This origin is listed as a challenging origin, and it definitely is. There will be moments in time where you will be rushing to do certain things and get stuff done. And that mostly has to do with the Null Star as well as this star. So make sure that you keep an eye on things and make sure that you keep an eye on those objectives because they are very important and you should probably do them. Also, it appears that this planet is on a collision course with our moon, so that is a bit of an issue. Anyway, let's move on towards the next one. If you want to play this one, it is called Absolute Zero. It is a lot of fun. Go check it out. Once again, the subscription link is in the description below. Now, the next one is called Shielded, yet another story origin. For those of you who has ever knocked the door down of a fallen empire and found a bunch of shielded worlds inside, well, let's put it this way, Shielded kind of ties into that idea. Basically, the idea here is that your homeworld has an ancient shield on it, a planetary shield, which does, for some reason, increase food production from jobs by 20%, which is the exact opposite of what we just saw just now. On top of that, immigration push is reduced by 100. People really like to live here, but apparently immigration pull has been reduced by 50% as well, which basically means that, well, not a lot of people are going to migrate into this place. In addition, you get additional planetary defense armies, etc., and bombardment damage is reduced by a massive 99%. And of course, at the start of the game, you will instantly be presented with a wonderful little event called the Veil's Keymaster, because the moon is a symbol to our species. However, the moon may not be what it seems. Let's put it this way. There's a lot of stuff going on in this particular origin, and again, a lot of it is story-orientated. Again, we do have a couple of modifiers on our capital world, etc., but that is pretty much the most major impact that you're going to get from a mechanical point of view. Once again, this is a story-orientated, story-orientated origin, and it's really good. There is a lot of stuff to be had here, and who knows what was being kept behind the shield. Was it us? Or was it something else? Who put the shield up? Well, that is for you to find out. Also, apparently the moon is called Endor, and I find that hilarious for various reasons. So yeah, check out Shielded. Again, a good story, a lot of RP to be had here. So go and have fun and play with this origin story. Then we have Lost Spawn. The stars, apparently. The civilization is a creation of a space-born entity guiding their growth and evolution from the stars. As we start off with Lost Spawn, there's a bunch of stuff in our solar system that is rather important. As you can see, we're already on our way because a special event called a No Stone Unturned has popped up because we are about to go into a galactic detective story to figure out what has happened to our creator. Our setup is relatively generic in general. We've got our standard industrial wastelands, etc. On our planet, we don't get any special buildings for the moment, maybe. And that is effectively it. This particular origin is filled with dig sites, events, special projects, etc. and will lift you through the game for quite some time after the start of the game. All I can tell you is that, well, let's be honest here. You start your search with an archaeological site on your homeworld. That's all the information you're going to get. Once again, it's very important to say that I'm not going to go and tell you anything more about this. I feel you should go ahead and play this one because it's quite a story. Let's put it that way. And I highly recommend for you to go and check it out. All of these origins, once again, are story orientated, and spoiling like that would be driving past the bookstore on the release date of one of the Harry Potter books and then screaming out of the car that Snape kills Dumbledore. I guess. Yes, Titanic sinks at the end as well. My god. That's crazy talk. Yes, indeed. Well, I'm not going to go and pull this one off. I do hope that you guys are going to go and try this one out. There is a vote currently going on what is the best origin as well. There is a link for that below in the description, including with the link to the Steam Workshop as well as the Paradox mod store in order to subscribe, because you should play these mods. They are awesome. Well, it's a singular mod, but you should play these origins. They're really good, and once you've made the decision, go and vote on your favorite. Okay? Cool. Doesn't cost you anything. It's all free. It's fun, and it really supports the creators that have gone out of their way to make all these origins. Anyway, I'm going to go and wrap this one up here. I'm sorry that I couldn't tell you much more about what happens in some of these event chains. Again, I did kind of spoil the things here on Containment Breach or Containment Failure, but still, you know, I have nothing but respect for creators, and I do feel that you should experience this for yourself. I'm gonna go and wrap this one up here. I hope you enjoyed this. If not, feel free to give it a dislike. Likes are always nice as well. But still, thank you to my patrons for making this video possible. The end of the year is rapidly approaching. We'll have a couple more videos before the year is done, including maybe the meme video of the year. Who knows? But still, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take good care of yourselves. And remember, support your creators and vote on your favorite origin from the ModJam.